Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today, I'm going to tell you about 14 things that you need to know about the InMotion V12S. So, let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. So in the meantime, this wheel has already 500 kilometers on the clock. Most of them were done by me, and some of them were also done by a friend of mine while I borrowed the wheel while my foot was in very poor condition. My foot did feel better after that time, but then I have overdone it again. So now I feel worse again, and that's why I'm recording this video inside. This is sort of a Yappisode, if you can call it that. I will be just yapping about this wheel since I can't really do much outside and I want to really heal up well to finally get this footsie tootsie working. And before we get into the video, huge thanks to Monokolo.eu, that's MONOKOLO.eu. That's where you can get this wheel or any other wheel shipped all across Europe. You can also use my coupon code WRONGWAY to get an additional -5% discount. I also do receive a kickback from those orders. And I'm also sponsored to do videos with them promoting Monokolo, so that is just that. They give me full freedom on what I say about wheels, so yeah, just the disclaimers.
Wow, 是你呀.
InMotion did send me this wheel for free to keep. So I guess now we're through with all of the disclaimers. Let's get into the 14 things I need to tell you about this wheel. So the first thing I wanted to tell you about is the screen. It is nice, but it is finicky. So when I use this wheel, it's very clear to see the speed of this wheel, and the battery percentage has like this huge bar, which is very readable. I can't sadly see the percentage that well from afar because I guess my eyesight stopped at 480p when I was 12 years old. But yeah, here we are. This screen is very functional, but to choose most of the settings on this wheel, I just use the app because it's just a little bit more comfortable. Like now the wheel is on this kickstand and the screen is high up and close to my face, so I can like adjust everything very well. But if you're out and about, you just need to hunch over and select all of the stuff. I do prefer it to have physical buttons like on Leaper-Kim in order to adjust my settings. Nevertheless, it's very nice to have everything here in case you don't have your phone or your phone runs out of battery. You can just use this instead. Now, the second thing that you need to know about this wheel is that it has both underwhelming performance and underwhelming range, at least in my opinion. Well, if you just do 5 to 10 kilometer errands to work and back, then, you know, no worries. You don't have to worry about range. But this thing weighing in about 35 kilograms, when riding slowly, and by that I mean between 25 and 30-ish kilometers an hour, the range here is about 50 kilometers, maybe tops 60. And if you actually use the performance of this wheel, which is going up to 70 kilometers an hour, which is ridiculously fast, then the range will be a lot less. Why is it underwhelming? Well, this is because there's competition. And at almost the same weight, I guess it's around 37 kilograms or 36, the Leaper-Kim Patent S will have around 80 to 90 kilometers of range. And the same applies to performance. The torque on this wheel, at least in my opinion, is very underwhelming. Especially the low-end torque when climbing up hills. That's why I don't have any pads on this wheel, but we'll move to that a bit later in the video. The torque is just not ready for off-roading, it's not ready for a heavier rider, and by that I mean, you know, 100 kilograms plus, and having some sort of sticky situations where there's a pothole or suddenly you need to, you know, climb something. This wheel just doesn't have the torque to back it up. Now, when it comes to top speed, on the other hand, it is not underwhelming as it goes up to 70 kilometers an hour. And riding at higher speeds, I do feel safer on this wheel compared to the Nosfit Aero or Eon. But all of this combined with this wheel being just so heavy, the torque being so lacking, and the range being so little, when you just get this wheel and you know that there is competition on the market which can do a lot more in the same weight category, well, then this wheel just becomes a little underwhelming. Now, the third thing you need to know about this wheel is that the stock charger, at least the one that I got from InMotion, is laughable. This is a 2.8 amp charger, and while it is nice that it doesn't have a fan, it's totally quiet, 7 hours for a full charge is very slow in today's electric unicycle world, where other manufacturers do provide you with a charger that can charge up the wheel between 2 to 4 hours. So this Yeah, this is not the best performance from InMotion. So if you actually want to charge fast, feel free to check out Pigeon. I've also linked them on my link tree. There's a coupon code -5% off for those guys. And with this thing, you can actually fast charge the wheel in about 2 hours or even less. And it's a very quiet, high quality charger. So yeah, if you want to charge fast, just get this. But of course, this is a aftermarket accessory and you need to pay extra for it. A small gripe is also the charge port placement. While this is very popular on many wheels, we have the charge ports here on the back. There's also a USB-C and USB-A port for charging your phone or power bank. When the wheel is on the kickstand, it's just hard to access those ports. So maybe we need them back on the front. With that said, the flap here is really nice, really simple to close, and I do like the charge port flap. I guess that's many things in one point. The fourth thing you need to know about the InMotion V12S is actually a very good one, and that is that this wheel is, at least as it is for now, very sturdily made, and it requires very little maintenance. I hear no squeaks, no cracks, no rattles when riding on this wheel. It's totally silent. It's eerily quiet when you ride on this wheel. The suspension is hydraulic, so you just need to change the oil every, I don't know, year or every, I don't know, 10,000, 15,000 kilometers, depends on the use case. But that said, if you compare this to the InMotion V11Y, the V11Y will be higher maintenance than this thing. The fifth thing that you need to know about the InMotion V12S is that it has layers of screws. Now, I don't think it is as bad as the InMotion V11Y to take apart and change a tire. But for example, just to adjust the headlight so it doesn't do this, it goes down by its own now because the screws holding in the light got loose. I can't adjust it because the screws are behind, I guess, this plastic. So I need to get this plastic off, and then I need to get the Velcro off in order to adjust it. And I don't even know if that fixes my issue. So in true InMotion fashion, I guess if we were to take the wheel apart, maybe I'll do that someday, there's just layers and layers. Like those wheels are made like an onion, and they are really testing your InMotions when you're taking them apart. With that said, I am quite sure that it is a lot easier to work on this wheel than, for example, on the InMotion V11Y or the InMotion V9. Now, the sixth thing I need to tell you about this wheel is the padless riding. I don't have any pads on this wheel. This wheel does come with pads, and I actually really like them. I've put them on my Nosfe Aero. But on this wheel, once I set up my riding mode, which is 0% sensitivity, comfort mode, 100% acceleration assist, and I guess 89 braking assist, this wheel just rides so easily. It's like a sofa. It is quite the ultimate city cruiser. Now, the braking distance will be bigger because I don't have like any pads to rapidly start braking, but this is just so comfortable, and I feel like I'm almost dancing on the wheel and just chilling. So the padless riding has been a sort of solution in order to combat the low torque on this wheel, because every time I wanted to do something a little bit more crazy on the wheel, I would just overpower it. So without pads, I'm just not able to do it, and this just became my city cruiser going around town. And quite often, actually, I take this wheel instead of others because it's just a sofa. It's so comfortable to ride around. It looks good. As a bonus, it's also easier to ride seated on the wheel, but this is the seat that you can get for this wheel. And let me tell you, I don't know what InMotion was thinking. It's not really something that does look like it's adjusted for your butt, but I tried to ride with it, but those edges just keep on getting into the inner side of my leg. So maybe I need to customize it a little. Maybe I need to try to ride it with different knee pads, but I didn't like the stock seat so far, even though it would be much easier to ride on it without those side pads. Now, the seventh thing you need to know about this wheel, and I'm sure that this wasn't intended by InMotion to be used this way, is that this wheel is a perfect seat. Look, I can just sit down, and I would, just recently bought an FPV drone, so I can just go somewhere, sit on the V12S, and go flying. So yeah, on the market, InMotion unknowingly produced the best seated ride experience while the wheel is not riding. I guess you can also sit the other way, can you? Oh, I don't know if that's even not better. This needs to be like a new criterion for electric unicycles. Like, how good of a seat are they when on the kickstand? I love it. Now, the 8th thing you need to know about the InMotion V12S is the trolley handle combo. InMotion just does it best, and I think that the trolley handle here is excellent. And if you need to go step down from your wheel and just push it around, or even carry it up some stairs, not a lot of stairs because this thing is too heavy to just carry one-handed for a long time, then this trolley handle combo is brilliant because this thing lifts up, locks in place, and you can even like put your helmet around here, or throw a shopping bag around this erect trolley handle. And then here you still have the grab handle with a lift switch button, so you just press on this, and if I had the space you can put it on a kickstand or you can lift it up. So this is excellent, and honestly, out there on the market, I think that nobody does it better than InMotion. Maybe some grab handles like in Leaperkim would be an added nice touch as well, but this button, this trolley handle, and the lift switch button here, this is just a great combination, and you will love it if you need to commute a lot and step down from your wheel, put it on the kickstand, put it off from the kickstand, and then, just push the wheel around. Really, really good. The 9th thing you need to know about the InMotion V12S is the various Pigeon baths you have on the top. So I actually was riding this wheel in the rain, more about the water resistance soon, but here there is a indentation, so there is not a lot of water like being able to be stuck here, but still quite a bit. So if water comes down here, it's a lot tougher to use the screen, and the water won't go out by itself because the edges here are higher than the screen itself. Pretty annoying. Same thing on the P6. Now here is the biggest pool for pigeons to, take a drink, have a small bath, because there is no drainage hole in this hole. So once you go back home and you rode in rain, you put it on the kickstand and then all of the water goes down. But no, this is not the end of the complex of pigeon baths on the InMotion V12S. Here is the last one, the petite junior pigeon bath, which also doesn't have a drainage hole. I mean, it's an oversight. All of those indentations on the top will have water inside. I don't know for how long it will keep being water resistant and waterproof, because I mean, somewhere the water has to go. But just something to keep in mind. If you ride around and water goes in here and you make a sharp turn, or you have some bumps on the road, then the inner side of your pants will get wet. And yeah, just a bit of an oversight. Quite annoying to have pigeon baths installed stock on InMotion V12S. Now, the 10th thing I need to tell you about this wheel is that the lighting is quite excellent. You have front lights here, boom.
路在前方，灯已亮起。
More on the speakers later. You don't have to have this sound. I just installed it for kicks and shits and giggles. But the front light is adjustable. Again, it goes down by itself because I'm like, I can't be bothered to get those side panels off in order to adjust it. But yeah, I mean, at some point I'll have to. But it's very bright. It's also like with a cutoff beam, so it's not blinding others. And the taillight is great as well. It's very bright in the highest possible position, and it blinks when you're stopping. So this light, excellent. Excellent lighting front and back. And if I just turn off some lights here, you can also see the excellent LED light here that is customizable, very chic, not tacky. Well, InMotion did a great job on lighting here. There is also a projector beam light, which is beamed from like the light here, the fourth sort of part of the light. You can also turn it off if you don't like to. Sadly, I do have it turned off because if I put it on a kickstand, it would shine into people's eyes, as you can see here. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of a gimmick. Maybe it's kind of cool to have, but luckily you can also turn it off. The 11th thing you need to know about this wheel is the tire. The tire is excellent for city riding. I do like it a lot. It's very nimble, and in combination with the high foot plates, you can really turn on a dime on this wheel. It is really, really nice to ride on this wheel, especially at slower speeds. It's very maneuverable, and going faster, it's still stable. Now for off-road though, It's horrible. I don't know if it's just the thread or if it's also the compound of the tire, but it's very slippery. I tried to do a little bit of off-roading when I went outside of Warsaw. I took the Aero and I took the InMotion V12S, and I barely could ride it. It was constantly slipping. Now, this tire, when it gets wet, I think that the grip also tends to get a lot worse compared to maybe some other tires. But like, just keep it in the city and you'll be very happy. It's beginner friendly, but for off-roading, especially when it's wet, no, just don't do it. When it's dry, I guess it can do some stuff, but once it starts to get a little bit wet, no. The InMotion V12S tire is definitely not good for off-roading then. Maybe just riding in the city, but yeah. Something to know. Now the 12th thing I already touched upon, which are the high-placed footplates. Now the footplates themselves are awesome. I love them. They have really good studs and they're very grippy. I mean, what is not to like about them? Maybe just the mounting bracket. It could be on both sides like on Librakim just to make it a bit more durable, but the pedal itself, the footplate, is splendid. Now the thing is that the footplate is not height adjustable, so you can put it down lower in order to have a little bit more balance and a lower center of gravity. And for this wheel just being meant for the city, I think this would be a great benefit. Now, it is not terrible, you can get used to it. The InMotion V11Y or V11 also had very high placed footplates, but those wheels were just slightly lighter. I think they were a bit easier to control, especially for a beginner. This wheel, if you just start out, if you're learning to ride on a wheel, it might be a bit of a challenge and you can get a little discouraged. Even though the tire is very beginner friendly, the whole thing is quite heavy. The footplates are high off the ground, so I don't really know what the purpose for that was by InMotion. Maybe for sharper turns, maybe if the suspension compresses, you don't want to clip the pedals, you don't want to, you know, hit something with the pedal. With that said, just something to note, something to remember, the footplates on this wheel are quite high off the ground. The 13th thing to know about this wheel is that it is heavy. Now, compared to the Eon, which has almost the same range, this thing is like 7 kilograms heavier. This is 35 kilos. This is almost the weight of the Librakim Pattern S. And for what it has inside, and by that I mean suspension, you know, motor, battery, it is actually quite heavy. And I don't know what they put inside to make it so heavy. Maybe it's the batteries, which are dunked in resin, so they're not that easy to work on, but they're definitely water resistant. Maybe it's the plastics, maybe it's some sort of layered onion construction by InMotion, but this wheel is just unusually heavy for the performance that it gives you. Now the 14th thing is price, and that is very important on this wheel. And I've actually opened up Monokolo.eu shop here on my phone just to compare a bit of prices between this wheel and other wheels. And in my opinion, I think right now it's just a bit too expensive to justify buying this wheel with this performance. Like, it has a lot of features. It has, you know, location settings. It's packed with, you know, smart BMS. There's a lot of tech on this wheel, and the performance is okay for high speeds, but for lower speeds or, you know, doing fun stuff, not really that much in range. And it is 2,600 euro. So let's see what else we can get for that price or less. We can get an InMotion V11Y for 2,000 euro, which is same range pretty much, but I just have a hate relationship with the V11. It's not a love-hate, it's just a hate relationship. Never liked the V11. I didn't have the V11Y, but I had two V11s. I just don't like that wheel. Too hard to work on, and I don't like the air suspension. I don't like the sliders inside. Just know, this is a far superior suspension design. So this I wouldn't recommend. But we have the S16 Pro, which has comparable performance for just 2,050 euro. We have the NOSFET Aero, which is an excellent wheel. Much smaller, amazing performance, much more torque than this one for 2,200 euro. We have the S19, also more range. We have the NOSFET Eon. I ride the Eon pretty much all the time right now, and it's also cheaper than this wheel. And at 400 euro more, you can already get the V14 Pro. And the InMotion V14 is an actual beast of the wheel. It's heavier, but the performance of that wheel is amazing compared to what this is. And then you have the Librakim Pattern at 3,050 euro. So you pay more, but you get a lot more in return. So if it were for like 2,000 euro, I would be like, maybe, or like 1,900 euro, then But for this price, it's kind of hard to justify. And it's also slow charging. Those other wheels are charging faster as well. So yeah, what I would say that this wheel is just good at is looking good, being, you know, a little bit under the radar, or just not looking so aggressively as those other wheels. And this just looks very refined. So if you go into a business meeting and you go into an office, like, people just look at this like, oh wow, like, please enter, this thing looks phenomenal. So this is where this thing excels at, extremely comfortable, and it's going faster speeds than the NOSFET Aero or Eon. So this is what it's good at, but it's not really good at range, being light, it's just heavy, and working on it might be a bit more difficult than on other wheels. Now I forgot, I have 2 more bonus things. One bonus thing is the rear mudguard. It's too short. I put tape on here and now it's better. Should be longer out of the box, and the front it should be longer too. The second bonus thing is the speakers. You can set up your own tones on this wheel, and there's also presets by InMotion that you can set up. Like, this is Chinese robots, and there's like a bunch of other sounds in the app that you can select. Oh, and actually a third bonus thing, and probably there shouldn't be a bonus, there should be just the 15th thing I need to tell you about this wheel, is the water resistance. It is IPX6, it's water resistant, the batteries are water resistant as well, actually sublimely water resistant because they're dunked in resin, so there's nothing happening to those. And I rode this wheel in rain, no issues, and I think that this wheel will be a very good performance for rainy rides. So yeah, this is 14 or 15 things and 2 bonus things that you need to know about the InMotion V12S. Let me know what you think about this episode. This is a Yappisode, so there was no drone footage. It was just me talking into the camera. Let me know what you think about it. It's a lot easier for me to do those videos because I don't need to walk so much and, you know, strain my footsie tootsie. I'd appreciate a like if you made it this far, and if you're still here, comment something below. I'll see you in the next one.